Welcome to Taiwanica. If you're looking for a podcast that is fun, deep, and insightful about the cultures in Taiwan and the USA, you're in the right place. This power couple tells real-life stories and cold hard facts while bringing you chill vibes, funny jokes, and special points of view that you can't find anywhere else. Now, your hosts, Anita and Eric.
This is episode 25, talking about love. Welcome to Taiwanica! I'm Anita. I'm the only amazing talker. I'm an amazing talker. I'm also your best friend. That's right, you can share everything with me. And here, joining me today is another amazing talker, Eric.
Didn't you just say you were the only amazing talker?
That's right.
An amazing talker?
I didn't say. I said I'm the only amazing talker, unamazing talker, but
So
you
I'm
are
just an
also
amazing talker.
yes, the
But
other.
not on amazing talker.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm a bad talker on
Amazing
amazing
talker.
talker. Okay, got it. What's up, everybody? My name's Eric. I am the other host on Taiwanica podcast, as well as, a bad talker on amazing talker, as you heard it here first. So glad to have you guys here today. We're talking about something very close to both Anita and I, and, well, I guess to the entire world in some way or another. Talking about that big L word. Yeah. Well, we're going to dive right into it. But just so you know, before we get into it, we, in the last episode, mentioned that we were going to tell you about our awkward date experience and completely forgot to mention it within the podcast. So if you are still interested in checking that out, we have that available on our profile on a place called buymeacoffee.com/Taiwanica. There you can find our experiences. And also, if you want to buy us a coffee, it's a great place to do it.
That's right.
Yep. Every time you order a coffee, it also goes to a donation fund towards elephants. So
we love elephants.
we love elephants. Anita's wearing an elephant t-shirt as we speak. So yeah, if you want to check that out, go there. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First thing we want to talk about is, personal experience.
Yeah. So again, just a quick note. Those are just personal experience and our understanding of love based on our experience. So it doesn't, meaning that would be the same meaning to you, but we just wanted to share some experience and
Our perceptions.
And
Yeah, because every love is unique, like every snowflake is unique. So
do you have to be so corny today?
I am the corn of corniness, okay? And so make sure that you feel the love when I tell you my love experiences first.
All
Anita
right.
really pushed me to be the first one here because I have a lot of love in my heart.
All right.
And I share it with many people.
Would you please just start?
So I have been in love
Yeah.
3 times in my life.
Oh, 3 times.
That's
Only
right.
3 times.
Okay, there's been more, but only 3 that have impacted me on a very deep level.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So my experiences are all within my 20s. And the very first one happened in the most unexpected way possible. And so when I was a junior in university, I was learning Japanese, and I have a really good friend. His name's George. If you're listening, hi, George. It's not you. I'm not in love with you, George. But we
I
would,
doubt it, but...
we would study a lot together. And then, one time when we were trying to study better, because we were 2 losers at Japanese, we really needed help. So we went and did a study group. And, one time, one of the people in the group, his name's Doug. Doug was an older gentleman with kids and stuff, and he brought over a Japanese girl with him to join our study group for one day. And yes, there was this girl here. I'm gonna not mention her name just to be private. But she, we'll just call her
Pikachu.
Okay, Pikachu. Okay, so Pikachu.
It's your very first love.
It was my very first love.
Okay.
It wasn't a love at first sight situation. I just thought she was a really nice person and very social. and she helped us with our Japanese. And then at that time, I was a pretty big flirt. So
Wait, fart or flirt?
Ha ha ha. Fart or flirt. That's Anita, everybody. Okay. You can tell why I fell in love with her. So Pikachu was just a nice girl who I was talking to for a while. We met up a couple of times, and then one day, and just when summer was about to start, she asked me, "Hey, Eric, could you help me move my stuff out of my dorm to this moving van because I'm moving into my host mother's house for the summer because Pikachu was a foreign exchange student, so she didn't have a place to stay, so she stayed with a host family." And I was like, "Oh, sure, that's totally fine with me." So I went down there with no intentions whatsoever, just helping her out, and then she actually popped the question to me. She said, Pikachu said to me, I'm going to say, I love this Pikachu. So yes, would you be my boyfriend? Pikachu. And I was like, whoa, well, I did not expect it.
She asked you that.
Yeah.
Pikachu asked you that.
Pikachu asked me that. And I was like, wow, I did not expect that to happen at all. Woo-hoo. And so I was like, okay, why not? Okay. Sounds good to me. It was, we had a fantastic relationship together. We were inseparable for the rest of her time when she was in Oregon studying. But all good things must come to an end. About 6 months later, she moved back to Japan in Japan, when you are about to graduate from university, they have this thing called Shuishoku Katsudo. And what that means is they go through a work training experience while they're graduating so that they can easily transition from school to work. And so as soon as she went back, she began the process of doing that, and she started becoming very busy. But we stayed in contact, and I made the intention of trying to move to Japan to be able to reunite with her. I was still in school, not really ready to actually start working yet, so we put our heads together and thought of a way for me to go there sooner. And that's when I did my internship in Japan. And long story short, I was able to get into the internship. I moved to Tokyo for 6 months, and we still did long distance relationship.
Because
she lived in Osaka.
I see.
So we met like once every month for 2 or 3 days, and that was it. So technically I saw her 6 weekends while I was in Japan for 6 months. And then it was still super romantic, and we were totally in tune. And I was like, okay, I'm going to totally, make this work. I really want to, make this relationship last forever. But then all good things come to an end once again. And I had to leave Japan to go back to the USA. And the plan was that I was going to get a job. In Japan. So like I mentioned before, the thing that Pikachu was doing was she wanted to she had to finish her work experience, and the more time you put into it, the harder it got. So by the time I went back to Oregon to try to finish my studies, she was practically swamped in her studies and her work, and the time difference, just forget about it. It was a 16-hour time difference. So we talked once, maybe every 2-3 weeks. It got less and less as time went on. She even told me that she didn't even want to talk because the time that she did have available, she wanted to do other things and tired. Yeah. So I wasn't very understanding of that. And so I was being a foolish young college boy, not understanding what was happening. And I just started, self-destructing. Yeah, basically. So I started roaming around, flirting with other girls and not really sure what was going on between me and Pikachu. And all of a sudden, when I went on a very first date with another girl, which is going to be another Pokemon.
the
Eevee. Eevee.
No, the singing song.
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff.
All right, we'll be Jigglypuff. Okay, so I went on a date with Jigglypuff. We went rock climbing, and on that day, Pikachu sent me a very long text message breaking up with me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pikachu!
Yeah, Pikachu broke up with me
Pikachu
through
broke up with
text.
Eric.
Yes.
Through text.
And so I know this isn't really talked about a lot about love just yet, but I'm getting there, just so you know. And so because I started dating Jigglypuff when I was breaking up with Pikachu.
I'm sorry.
This is a great story, right?
Love it.
I didn't process the breakup.
That's
okay. I just said, oh, okay, whatever, and I moved on with Jigglypuff, and I didn't look back. Okay. Thank God people can't see your hands. That's just gross.
I'm just doing
Juggling.
Juggling.
Yes. Okay. It's not Jugglepuff. All right. It's Jigglypuff.
It's a
all right?
Jigglypuff, right?
We're not talking about this right
That's
now.
what I'm
okay.
talking
So,
about.
anyways, Jigglypuff and I started dating, and things were really passionate for a while.
Jigglypuff.
Yeah, she was very passionate woman. We moved in with each other almost 1 month after dating. And it was not a good decision. As Jigglypuff, the Pokemon actually is a perfect choice because
Why?
Jigglypuff is really kind at sometimes, but really angry.
What does she
gets
angry?
super angry.
I mean, Jigglypuff, the real character.
the real Pokemon gets angry. Yeah. So the same thing with
the Jigglypuff
in my life. Yes. So she loved to clean. And I told her at the beginning of our relationship, "Oh, I like to clean too." Bad thing
That's
to say.
not the truth.
Yeah. So, she made me realize that real quick that I was not as clean as I thought I was. So every time I left like a dirty dish or a pot or even a scrape of rice on the bowl, I got hell to pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a lot of emotions that happened between me and Jigglypuff, but we. The thing is that it was my turn to move away from Oregon again because I graduated from university, and my family lived in Mexico at the time, and they're saying, "Hey, you're done with university, come hang out with us in Mexico." And I was like, "Why not? I don't have anything keeping me here except Jigglypuff." And Jigglypuff and I were on the rocks. And so I told her, I was like, "I'm going to move to Mexico. We should break up at this time." And at that time, she was kind of like okay about it. But then that was about 1 month before I was actually moving. I moved with a friend to Mexico. Her name's Rochelle. Hi, Rochelle. So when before we planned to move, I told Jigglypuff about this, and she's like, "Okay, that's fine. I totally agree. This is a good idea." But as time got closer, I'm quite romantic, and so by the time it was like 1 or 2 weeks before, I said, "Let's do long distance."
Oh, little Eric.
Yes, and Jigglypuff was like, "Oh yes."
Jigglypuff said the same thing.
Yeah, Jigglypuff was totally okay with it.
She was agreeing.
She agreed, and so after that, we basically. Agreed that we would do long distance, and that was the worst mistake I ever made in my life. Literally the worst. I've done crazy things in my life, but that one is the worst.
Oh, jeez.
And I say that passionately because Jigglypuff and I literally argued online every single time we talked with each other. It was over the smallest of things and all of these things. Like, I accused her of her cheating on me. She accused me of cheating on her. It was just bad. Nothing actually happened, I'm pretty sure. But we were just so mad at each other to the point where, for every little reason, we're just pointing fingers the entire time. And it just wasn't working. And so it got to the point where we yelled so much at each other that Jigglypuff closed the laptop on me one day, and then I never heard from her since.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that was when we were on Skype.
Poof.
Yeah, she literally went poof. Yeah, she did. And then as soon as Jigglypuff closed that laptop, I realized something about love, and that was my heart broke.
Oh.
And not only did it break, but remember I didn't like process Pikachu's love? Well, I got double whammied for love at the same time. I literally went mentally insane at that very point. Mentally insane. I cried so hard. I was throwing things. My body was shaking uncontrollably. I literally felt like my body was shutting down. And I had no idea how to control it. And so my mom and Rochelle were telling me to do things like take deep breaths and throw eggs at walls because it really works. If you're ever really, really mad, throw eggs at walls. It's like the most satisfying feeling in the world. And then burning paper of like notes of like unspoken words to the people. I did everything. And then I didn't get over it for years, actually. It always kind of left a scar in my heart, and it made me feel afraid of loving again. And so even though I was in one of the countries of the most romantic feelings ever, I did not feel any romance at all. I was just super cold to the idea of loving again. I thought love was not meant for me. I felt that, everything about love was just not good. It's not real. It's fake. You can't trust anybody. But I was actually really grateful that I lived in Mexico at that time because Mexico, you love everyone. You love your friends. You love your family. You love, your neighbor. You even love the guy down the street who sells you honey in a giant jar. It's like everyone there is passionate about love. And so it really opened my eyes to the idea that love isn't just between lovers. Love is between everyone. And so that's what I learned about love thanks to those breakups. It took me a while to accept love again, and I'm glad it did because it let me meet, I don't have to make a Pokemon, it's you. Yes, I could,
Dang it, I was waiting for my Pokemon nickname.
Well, I'll think of one later. Okay. And so, I think it really worked out the way it was supposed to. But yeah, letting go of old love is really hard.
It is.
And one of the tricks that I just really want to mention before I take it over to Anita is that you don't really give over love when the relationship ends. And you kind of grieve for a while. And grieving is good. But you have to be okay with saying thank you to the other person.
That's beautiful.
And you have to be okay with also to, say sorry to them for whatever you did. Even if you don't think you did something wrong. It's really important to say I'm sorry to them for anything that you think that you may have done wrong. And how do you do that without talking to them? Well, I mean, it's a meditation, really. You just have to sit down, close your eyes, think about them in front of you, and then really think about them in front of you. Like, think about what they look like. Think about, some of the clothes that they used to wear all the time. And then see them just sitting there in front of you and just tell them everything in your head. You'll feel it in your heart. I 100% guarantee that you'll feel that. So my message about love is that love is really important. And you can love again and again and again. Because love occupies different parts of your heart, just like how memories occupy different parts of your brain. Love occupies different parts of your heart. So like, for example, my love for Anita is deep and profound, and it will never be any different. But the love I had for these two Pokemon are still in my heart, even though we haven't communicated with each other for years, and we don't have any intention to communicate with each other ever again. I'm pretty sure both of them are married and have children now. Good for you, Pikachu and Jigglypuff. But I still love them, because we experienced things in life together that will never separate us, and so I will always cherish those moments. And you should too, whoever's listening. Love is a very powerful emotion, and you shouldn't be regretful for what you experienced, because it's a very magical part of life. And even if you're with someone else, you should definitely not feel regret or shame or guilty for feeling love for another person still. Because like I said, they occupy different parts of your heart. So if you love somebody in the past and you feel those memories happen again, good, feel them because they will make you feel even more love for the person that you love now. Mm-hmm. So that is my experience with love.
Beautiful, beautiful. Clapping right here.
Yeah.
All right, I guess it's my turn now.
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so my experience that I'm about to share is about 3 years ago. Okay, 3 years ago, there were this guy. Before I met this guy, I didn't know love. Okay, to be more specific, I didn't know love after we broke up. Well, to be more specific, we didn't break up. The guy kicked me out of our apartment. Okay, so I was with this guy for like, at that point, I think been 2 years about. And at the end of the relationship, we kind of just fighting about like little things, pretty much just like Eric mentioned, like when you are doing a long distance, you can fight over something so small. I remember the most ridiculous thing we were fighting about right before he kicked me out of our apartment is we are arguing what is the time that Watson will close. Like, Watson, it's like a drugstore in Taiwan. So we were just arguing about, when the store will be closed. And then I say 11, and he say 10, and then we're just fighting over. He just say, you don't trust me, things like that. At that moment, I was just like, I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm just so confused. And anyways, the day after that, he went home. He just said, I cannot do this anymore. You have 2 days to move out of our apartment. Like that.
Damn.
And I was just like, what the hell? Seriously. And after he said this, he left this message and we were like face to face at our apartment. After he said this, he just went out. Totally disappear. Like gone. So I don't know what to do. I started crying in an apartment that we moved in together. At that moment, it's about, 2 years. Okay. So I thought he's the one I'm going to marry at that moment. It was like, I gave you everything. I never move in with anybody else. And why is this relationship ended like this? At that moment, I was just so confused. So many questions I wanted to ask. And I don't know where to go. I went back home and, stayed there for like a week. And I thought my boyfriend at that time will, take me in again, or, have a relationship, get back together, things like that. And a week after I went back to our apartment, he was like this totally different person. Like I never, like this person I never met before. He was just so cold and like emotionally shut down. I can feel that. And he was just like, I showed up. I was kind of like, if he saw me, he will think that all the good times that we had, and then he will be like, okay, we can handle this, we can figure it out. But the truth is not. So he was this cold person. It was like, I put your stuff in the room, go get it, and I have something I need to do. I hope, by the time I went back, it's about like 3 hours time frame. He's like, I'll be back about like 3 hours. I hope when I came back, all of your stuff will be gone. That's the only thing that he said to me. Okay. And then he just gone. He said, I have a date. That's what he said to me at that time. Wow. Like, he said, I have a date. I need to, I have a date. I need to go. Anyway, so.
I wonder if that's true or not.
I wonder. I don't know. I never asked him, but, that's it. So I don't think that's true. I was in that room looking at all my stuff, it's not just stuff. It's all the memories. All your stuff just like shoved into one room. And you just like, the 2-3 years, all the times that we've been through, it's been like only just stuff, emotionless. At that moment, I was just like, I don't know what to do. But I remember I left a letter to him. I say, I don't know what happened, but no matter what, I thank you for the time that we spent together. And I love your family. You know, they made me feel home, things like that. I just say something like that and left the letter in the apartment. And I just packed my stuff. Took like 2 hours drive. What am I saying? Like 2 hours back to my hometown with my parents. And like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know what love is until that experience. Because at that time, I didn't know what to do. And you know, side note, at that time, I got a job as like a manager of a school at the place. And I was just like, yes, I'm probably about getting married soon. And I get this wonderful management level kind of job. My life is going to move on to the next level. But because I got kicked out by the apartment, so I have to move back to my hometown. So of course I lose the job opportunity. So I got nothing, like literally nothing. And every day, all I do is being sad. Not necessarily crying, but just feeling this endless sadness in my life. And I'm just crying. Sometimes I'll cry and I have no appetite eating. Basically, just like what you said, like Eric said, just your body, that, you know, everything inside of your body just started to shut down.
Yeah.
So, but I was starting to play the blaming game, you know. I was thinking about, you did this, you did that, and you are the one who kicked me out of my apartment, you know, like this kind of things. But
yeah, you tell him. You tell that guy.
After about 2 weeks, you know, just for your information, within those 2 weeks, I was Googling how to get back with my ex every single day. And from different resources, sometimes I'll watch YouTube videos, sometimes I'll Google, read some articles and everything. I'll just try my best. And a lot of things that tell me that, oh, you should play this game, you know, play hard to get, sort of things like that. At the time, I just feel like this is so foolish. I don't get any of this information. I have no brain capacity to process anything, including those information. You know, the only thing, the focus I had at the time is how to get back with him. But there's no way I can do. So finally, after about 2 weeks time frame, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sick of being sad. You know, I cannot feel anything else. I just feel this like sad all the time, 24/7. And I was just like, I'm so sick of it. I'm gonna do something. To be honest, yeah, I found some like useful information. There was some like platform. There's this lady, she said, oh, if you want to get back to your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, stop being sad. Put the focus back on yourself. That's probably the best suggestion that I've ever been given.
Well said.
Yeah. So at that time, I'm just like, yeah, I'm so sick. I'm done.
You should say it one more time because it's so good.
What did I say? If you want to get back with your ex-boyfriend, you should stop being sad. Instead, being sad, you put all the focus to yourself once again.
Beautiful the second time, just as the first.
Yeah, so I was just like, at that time, again, I didn't understand what she's talking about, but all I know is she said, if you feel sad, you wanted to stop feeling sad, do something else. Just do something else. Go do something else. So at that time, the easiest thing for me to do is go running. You know, just, you know, go outside, put on shoes, running, you know, easy. So that's when I started to do this habit. Like, when I start doing it, I would like run and cry at the same time. Oh. You listen to some sad song, whatever, and just feel sad and
feeling,
you know,
the emotions even now.
Yeah. So kind of like my way of processing my emotions. And I started to realize I can feel something else. I can feel something except for sadness or blaming my ex-boyfriend. I started to feel like I have more power to do something. You know, I faced, just like the lady said, I put all the focus on myself. And I looked at myself and the old me in that relationship. And that's when I realized, oh my God, geez, I didn't notice this, but I made tons of mistakes. I treated my ex-boyfriend wrongly, like so wrong. And that's when I started to just have the awakening, like, oh my God, I don't know how to love a person. You know, the way I treated my ex-boyfriend, I thought as me expressing my love to him. You know, sort of thing. I don't want to go to the detail, but at that moment, I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't know love at all. So that's when I started to study, read books, listen to podcasts, and then there was more things I heal from my past.
Oh, so not just from the relationship?
Not just from the relationship. Also from my childhood, the traumas that I've got from my family, original family. You know, I'm not saying my original family is like dysfunctional family, but it's just the way they treated me because of, you know, Taiwanese kind of mindset or way that they educate their kids, just not the perfect model for me. Doesn't work for me. And I'm pretty sure my parents tried their best. But that's when I started to realize in order to start a relationship, a healthy, loving relationship, I have to forgive my past.
Oh, well said.
Okay. So that's when I started to, you know, doing this like my training, doing like meditation, started to read, forgiving my past, let go of my old trauma. And for like a month, I am very proud to say I'm totally a different person. And by the time it was like about 2 or 3 months, I would go running every day and I'll listen to some inspiring podcasts to knowing, you know, personality, how we become who we are, you know, kind of understand everything like this. I'm pretty sure some of my students know that I have the kind of ability to guide them. That's because of my own experience.
So because of this breakup, you had a personal transformation.
Yes.
And that personal transformation also helped you to help other people recognize their own transformations.
Yeah, that's the very powerful time of my life, which I'm really grateful because of my ex-boyfriend kicked me out of the apartment. So everything I've learned, who I am today, is all because of that breakup. And so by the time it was like 2 months after that breakup, I already forget about wanting to get back with this ex-boyfriend because
he's a loser.
Because I've realized there's so many things I can do for myself. And it's just like every day I have new discovery about me, and then just so powerful, and have this, like I said, we said it's a transformation. So that also changed my point of view about this world. Before I kind of like blaming a lot of things, you know, this society sucks, you know, I'm stuck in here is because of, you know, a lot of things. But when I started to see this world from a different perspective, and I'm just happier and like more powerful to take down more difficulties about my life. And that's when I started to put myself together to moving on to the next stage.
Next boyfriend.
No, you know, that's what the old me would do is like, I don't want to be alone, so I'll find a new boyfriend. But at that time, for the very first time in my life, I think putting the focus back to myself, it's necessity.
Gotcha. So what did you do then?
And I just feel so great. And then I started to plan my future. The future.
Future. The future is beautiful.
The future without this ex-boyfriend. Because before, when we were together, we always planning things together. Like, what do you want to do in the future? Let's do this together. And at that time, I finally figured out what I wanted to do for myself. So I started to plan my future. You know, I wanted to go to Argentina to study. And I applied for school, everything. I'm so ready to move on to my next stage of life. And
amazing.
Yeah. And I at the same time, I also don't want to see this previous relationship as like a bad memory, or this ex-boyfriend is a bad person or something like that. So I try to reconnect with my ex-boyfriend from a loving place. It's not like I wanted to be with you, but I wanted to know that this is my life right now. I'm so much better. And I hope you feel the same, because at that time when he kicked me out, I can see he's also suffered a lot in that relationship. So I wanted to help him to feel better. So I started to write letters to
Oh, that sounds nice.
yeah, I started to write a letter and I share with him what I learned. And I will send him a letter. Of course, I asked our mutual friend, which is Lawrence, by the way. He will be in our next interview. Just a quick preview for you guys. So Lawrence is our mutual friend, and I will send letters to Lawrence, and Lawrence will send a letter to my ex-boyfriend. And we kind of like this started to build this relationship, kind of like, sharing with each other from our personal perspective. And at that time, my ex-boyfriend said, he also applied to school in Hawaii. I remember that's Hawaii at that time.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then one day when I received his letter, he said, I applied to school in Hawaii. I'm going to Hawaii. And I cried a lot when I saw that letter.
Why?
Because that moment I realized I can let him go. Like so powerful. Before I was like, I cannot live without him. But until that, we figured out what I want and he figures out what he wants. And I just feel like this wonderful feeling. I let go of my past, but it's not because I hate it so much. It is because I'm so happy what we've become because of that breakup.
I understand.
Yeah, and again, I'm really grateful for that experience. But
it sounds like something is going to happen. Like you're building us all up to this very wonderful story about, oh wow, I discovered something new about myself, and oh wow, I'm this whole new person. I'm gonna go to Argentina. Which obviously didn't happen because
COVID. No, it's because COVID.
Because you are in the USA and not Argentina.
Seriously, just a little bit south. I will be able to achieve my goal.
So, about that, it sounds like something didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay, so if it wasn't for my personal transformation, if I did not rekindle with my ex-boyfriend from a loving place and understanding place, I wouldn't be in influence him, also want to be better. Let's just say that. This kind of impact is neutral. So at that time, we were both feeling we are different people, and the love's still there. And it's even stronger and for each other. Again, even wasn't for that breakup, even wasn't for that personal transformation, even wasn't for that time apart, we wouldn't be married and have a kid together.
So, what you're saying is, I'm the ex-boyfriend?
You are the person who kicked me out in the apartment, yes.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Talk about a twist.
Eric was
the giant butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's time for you to move on to your third.
My third Pokemon?
Yes.
Okay, so my third Pokemon, she's pretty crazy, so I call her Snorlax.
Oh my god.
Likes to sleep a lot.
Sleeping is good.
And makes lots of weird noises.
Oh my, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, okay, alright. Anyway, so previously I said with the whole love goes into different parts of your heart, it resides in those areas. Anita and I's relationship is very unique because of Anita's stories that she just mentioned. We previously went through a lot of struggles together, trying to not only understand each other, but more importantly, understand ourselves with each other. And that was a very big challenge for both Anita and I because we are both very headstrong, competitive, powerful individuals. And for both of us to be able to find a balance of sharing power, control, and everything else in between was a humongous problem. And so we had lots of challenges of being able to understand trust, respect, individual points of views on things, and yeah, just who wore the pants in the relationship. I wear the t-shirt, by the way. Okay,
I was
not
saying
the
the mini
pants.
skirt or something.
Yeah, mini
Anyways.
skirt, whatever you want to call it, pantyhose. But primarily, like Anita talked about how we rekindled a little bit, but one of the biggest things that what we really needed after we reunited was to basically figure out, why do we have all of these. Let's just think about our relationship as a ship, okay? A floating ship in the sea. But our relationship was a sinking ship. And we were trying to figure out, okay, so how do we fill in all the broken holes in our relationship so that it could move on? One of the biggest things was to love ourselves. So we did that during the breakup. The next thing was that if we wanted to reunite, we really needed to be honest with each other about what were parts of our relationship that we didn't like. So all the ugly truths that we weren't willing to tell each other before, we told at the very beginning of the relationship. Also, we had to find tools to be able to help us understand each other more in a loving relationship. We knew each other as friends really well and roommates. So we could laugh around each other and be like kind of like bros, because Anita has a very masculine side sometimes. Okay.
It's me trying to
Try to cover it up horribly. So like when it came to the going out or going on adventures, never a problem. But when it came to romance or love,
like real life, basically.
It would be.
What did you me?
Anyways, so we needed tools.
What tools?
To be able to make that love stronger. And so one of the biggest tools that we want to share with you today, we have a few, but the one that really was life-changing, the one that we not only believe in, but always use on a continuous basis, and have promoted it to a lot of our friends and students, is a book called The 5 Love Languages. This one is just incredible. It's so good because it helps you understand your relationship with your partner on not just a physical level, but also on a spiritual level when it comes to them as people from all the way since they were kids. So to give you a more specific example, I'm going to tell you what Anita's love languages are, and then afterwards she's going to tell you what mine are.
Do we have to do that right now?
Yeah, we're going to, but and I'm going to say mine first, if that's okay, and then
you want to say your love language?
No, about you.
Oh, okay.
And say the reasons why I want to explain these. So. Okay. Anita's, so you know, there are 5 love languages, and each person in the world, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, what country you're from, what language you speak, no matter what, you'll have 2, of these love languages that really resonate with you. And so, and they all come from different experiences in life. But usually they are experiences that really impacted you when you were a kid that will make you have one of these love languages. And usually those impacts are from parents or from siblings. And so Anita's first love language is quality time. And quality time means that she loves being able to spend time with the people that she loves. Whether it's watching TV, a movie, or listening to music together while cooking, or even just walking in the park, or just, doing stuff like what we're doing right now, making a podcast episode. All of these things, are, to Anita, are considered love. It's quality time to be able to have these special moments together. And so that's why Anita and I get along very well, because we share this quality. It's not one of my top 2 though. She'll tell you what mine are. the last one for Anita, and her absolute most important one, and everyone make sure you write this down, is gift giving. I'll say it again because Anita's so giggly. Gift giving. Okay? And so Anita loves gifts. Makes her sound really shallow, I know, but in reality...
That's why I was laughing.
I know. I understand you without even using words.
Continue, please.
Oh, sorry. So gift giving is very straightforward. You give her gifts. I mean, but usually... gifts don't have to be with money. They could be with, the amount of time you spend on making something or creating a really cool idea for her or, just sending her a message that says, hey, I love you. I miss you. These are all, in Anita's eyes, gift giving. So, this is a really popular one, guys, if you're listening, for women to have, usually because their fathers would give them gifts when they were young. And I say them as women, and, they found that to be very, very touching. And so, Anita had a very similar experience with, some stuffed animals and a doll, from her father. And ever since then, we have stuffed animals all over our house. So to give you a really good example of why, that's why, I know Anita's language very well now, but before I had no idea. And the reason why this is so important that we tell you this is because when we were breaking up and when we were in a really bad situation, Anita was trying to communicate with me in her love language. This is why it's called a language, because the actions that you do in the love language are going to somehow communicate to the other person, to tell the other person you love them. And so... when Anita was giving me gifts and
like
tons of gifts, I was like, thanks, pal, buddy. And it's like, it's not...
For me, it's like shutting down. He just like didn't receive my love. And not only that, he didn't cherish my love to him. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I would like throw away the cards.
I was so heartbreaking when I saw my cards in the garbage.
Yeah, I would, she would give me little like knickknacks or toys or something like that. And I would like put them in places that really didn't matter because I was just like, oh, that's nice. Because, gift giving isn't my love language. It still isn't. Anita likes to give me gifts still, and I appreciate it because I know it's her love language now. But in order to communicate to me on a deeper level, she now knows that she needs to communicate with me in other ways. And I don't know why you're laughing at that.
Because you make it sound so sexual.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess they're going to find out that in a minute. Okay, so just so you know, Five Love Languages is a powerful book. And that's definitely my biggest recommendation.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll talk more about that in a minute. I just want to say one more thing before Anita tells you, my love languages, and that is, Anita's love towards me, and in my heart were profoundly different because of her efforts to want to improve our relationship. And so that's why, even though I called her Snorlax,
one day just decided
you decided
to sleep.
Yes, and you evolved. Okay, you evolved into a beautiful butterfly. A beautiful butterfly. That's an inside joke with Kaya. Okay. Anyways, you became a much different person during that part of our relationship, and I was so not only shocked, but I admired that a lot. So
thank you so much.
Yes, the efforts that you put in really were able to help me get over the past, because that's another really important thing about this love, is that the past relationship with Anita stuck with me for years, actually. And it's still even today, there's maybe like one or two little things that she does that remind me of the past, the triggers. Yes, exactly. And that makes me upset when I see those things happen. But we communicate them all the time now. So whenever they happen, we're like, hey, This bothers me.
Hey.
Yeah, seriously, stop talking. Anita. Stop talking.
Sorry.
And so because of those moments, we're able to recognize, oh, this is one thing in the past that really bothered us, and we're going to communicate them now so that in the future they don't happen again. And so we really work hard on these compromises, this relationship building and adaptation. And that was all because of the breakup. The breakup allowed us to have those adaptions and those moments of accepting. So keep in mind, a relationship, this is my last thing I'm going to say before I give it back to Anita, and that is that she's a butt. And I love her. But a relationship, when it breaks up and you think that they're still going to have an opportunity for it to be rekindled or reformed back into a relationship, give it a chance, because you might be surprised at the person. If they show that they are willing to change for you, oh, it's totally worth to give it another shot. So, yeah, that's my last thing. All right, Anita. Love languages.
Okay. So, Eric's love language is totally not something that how do I say that? It's not just the things I don't
You just don't understand.
I just don't understand. Yeah, just like
you didn't take that class.
Yeah, he's speaking Russian to me.
Yes.
And I don't know how to respond to it. His love language is physical touch.
Okay.
So very simple. Whenever he's upset or he's getting mad for no reason or with some reasons, doesn't matter what situation, he's crying or like gassy, whatever, just give him a hug.
Are we talking about me? Are we talking about Kaya? Like, what's going on?
Physical touch, because he likes, touching, like hugging, kissing, just stroke his hands and neck, forehead, hair, everything. Just physical touch will make him feel like he's in mama's wound. Like a womb, like in a, what is that thing called? I wanted to say that the bag, the pouch.
The pouch.
The pouch from a kangaroo,
yeah.
Mama. So, that's his love language. And the other one is words of affirmation.
All right. So what are words of affirmation?
You have to recognize his hard work and really appreciate it. Not just appreciate it, you have to let him know that you appreciate the things that he did.
Example.
Like sometimes when he's been putting a lot of hours of doing work, because I'm been cutting down my hours of working, and if I said, Eric Matthews, thank you so much for putting so much effort in order to make me to have the lifestyle I want. So I recognize your sacrifice, and I think you are very great.
Really?
Yes, you are such a good person, good daddy, and good...
Stop it. No, tell me more.
husband.
All right, husband, I like that one.
Yeah, a good husband. I'm so lucky to have you.
Yay, I'm important.
Yeah, you make him know that he is important. Okay, so those two are the Eric's love language.
So just to wrap up the four that we've mentioned already, Anita is gift giving and spending quality time. Eric is
physical touch and words of affirmation.
So there's one more that is there, and that is acts of service. Anita, what are acts of service?
Like just I think that one we've been doing very well on a daily basis, so that's why we didn't mention about that specifically. But basically, just doing something for the other person. For example, I love cooking, so I love cooking for Eric. I devoted my time to do one thing for the other person. That's considered an act of service.
Or like cleaning the house. Or going to do chores. Or anything that requires effort in order for it to be completed. Mm-hmm. And the other person generally would not like to do that certain thing. Yeah. Or they would prefer that they didn't have to do it on a continuous basis.
Yeah.
those kind of actions are, and the other person wants to do them for you, is acts of service. So there are a lot of people who love to do this kind of love.
I think in our relationship, we pretty much like 50-50 for each person. You know, we put like sometimes you run the errand, sometimes I clean the kitchen, and you do something else, and I do another thing. So this kind of like balance in our relationship, I would say.
Yes, we kind of already have a very stable ecosystem going on where one person does something, the other person does the other.
Yeah.
So neither of us really need this in our love relationships because we know the responsibility for doing those things. But some people are really bad at this. So having someone to do it for them makes them feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very good. So, guys, these are the 5 love languages. And we really recommend that you read it. And so we're going to actually leave a link in the description below for you guys to be able to order a book of this. They usually have it in English. It's a really easy. book to read, so it's not hard at all. You can definitely read it in a very short amount of time. And I definitely recommend it because it doesn't matter if you're married like we are, or having a boyfriend or girlfriend, or even with your family. Like if you have you want to have a better relationship with your parents or with your siblings, knowing this knowledge will help a lot.
Yeah.
Because hey, who doesn't like love, right?
Seriously.
So it's definitely
That's right.
So never look at it negatively. You know. Just never look at it negatively.
Yeah, and also inside this book, before each chapter they will teach you to understand deeper level about those languages real meaning behind it, and give you better understanding. And at the end of the last chapter, there are some practice you can do in order to really get the really accurate answers, like which languages are the most important to you. So they also provide the practice and test for you to do.
At the very end, like there's a little quiz. And you'll have like a ratio, and you'll know, oh, I'm mainly this, and oh, I'm mainly that.
Yeah.
And then after you have a full awareness of them, it's really easy to tell what the other people like, because they'll usually do, like what Anita did to me, they'll usually do their love language to you. Or to the other person. So you have to watch them closely. So if you see someone saying a lot of nice words to you, like,
say nice things back.
Say nice things back. Or if someone gives you lots of gifts, give gifts back. Or if they keep on cleaning things for you, oh, maybe you should clean something for them, you know? So, that's one of the last words we wanted to say here. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention?
I think the message for me to share today is very simple. Like, be brave. A lot of people stay in the relationship. It doesn't serve them anymore, but they still stay in it. It's not very healthy, not for the other person or for yourself. So take on the responsibility and look at yourself. A lot of people are looking for what they don't have from their original family in their future romantic relationship.
Yeah, kind of like filling a space.
Yeah, that's also not wrong, because nobody is in charge of covering or fix some wound or trauma for you. So
that's not wrong, or that's wrong?
That's wrong. Did I say that's not wrong? Oh, sorry. That's wrong for the other person to do that for you. You have to put in the effort in order to know what you're looking for. You have to put in the effort to know yourself. Right. And you should build the relationship with another person from the equal place. It's not like you have to be this certain person in order to have a relationship with me. It should be like, I think I used this metaphor before. Like, it's like building a castle together.
Yeah.
Both should put in the same amount of effort to it in order to build a stronger, more beautiful, or loving place, loving relationship. And sometimes we will say something. Maybe our intention is not hurting you, but somehow it hurts you. The first step is, instead of blaming, you should step back and understand from a loving place.
Yeah.
Telling them, what you say hurting me, is this what your intention was? You know, from like
asking
these
questions.
Yeah, instead of blaming. It's like, you always say that to me. You know, why'd you always do that to me?
Anita's showing a very good example of a lot of relationships. Anytime people say stuff like that, those are fighting words. So be careful with what you say, because most people don't tend to want to fight. They're just sharing their emotions, but sometimes emotions can be very damaging. So it's always important to express your emotions, but make sure you understand what your emotions are telling you before you express them. I think that's what Anita is trying to explain here, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I think it's a very good ending message. And, thank you so much, Anita. We did have a lot more that we wanted to talk about in this, but if you want to know what those other questions are, please make sure to check out buymeacoffee.com/Taiwanica. We will be posting a few more things about this that didn't get into this episode today. So, maybe you're hearing the giant garbage truck
It's not a gunshot,
behind us. We don't have music like in Taiwan. We have gunshots whenever they come. That's just a side note, reeler blarb. Okay, so thanks so much for listening to this episode today, guys. It was a long one, but a very powerful one. And just keep in mind, we didn't make any comparisons between Taiwan and the USA in this today because love is universal.
Yeah, it's true.
So no matter what we said here, it's going to match anybody in the world. So hopefully you found that to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
Love your life and love the person
Wow.
who is important in your life.
Thank you so much, Anita, for that that semi-awkward ending. Okay. All right. Well, we will see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.